I know some people are already feeling like, how are you going to call it Yoruba Party in the UK? Something like that. See, listen, mine is just to let you know that if the UK law says they could have it, and it's currently running in the Peckham area, to become a member of parliament in the UK. There are so many questions, and I know a lot of you have that same questions and say, what about the Ronukus? How are the Ronukus seeing this? That the Yorubas have been so established in the UK that they have their own political party. In fact, someone is actually running, or a few people are actually running on the platform to become members of the UK or British Parliament. Play this video for the Ronukus that need to see it. This is how they are campaigning in London. Orí orí o, Ọlájùmọ̀kẹ́ lọ, Ọlájùmọ̀kẹ́ lọ, orí kò lẹ́sẹ̀. See, my dear Igbo Templars, don't blame me. So that's a Yoruba party, a Yoruba candidate in the UK, and the band singing, oh yeah, damn it, oh yeah, Shoku no Gaza, oh yeah, Shoku no Gaza, yeah, Jehovah Lord Dioma. Oh yeah, Chukuno Gaza. That's the end of my own presentation, okay? I'm coming back to take calls. And you can call in and possibly share your own views tonight. Let me go try a refill. Somehow, a break. So thank you so much, everyone who is still here with me. Thank you. And if this is your first time on Mayegun's Diary Political, well, I talk about is not just politics, but how it actually affects our everyday. The reason why we should never treat it with levity. The type of people who are in charge of the government of anywhere we live, especially that place we come from. Those of you who live under the, under the command of all these rogues, these lawless criminals who believe they can do anything, those who kind of think like they could be royalty and all that. You probably would join us to emancipate your mind as well. You could possibly stand up for something too, and that is if you are not. So if this is your first time of joining me, maybe second time, maybe third, and you've never probably thought of staying, I'm encouraging you to. So let me check my line. Oh, I've had a few of you who have actually attempted to get through. Sorry, I've got a break there. So yeah, the line is still pretty much open. But if you don't feel like calling in or even like participating, right? You don't need to wait for long, okay? You should like the broadcast. That's more important as well. I hear you small. The greatest. The great youth of Nigeria. Great. Greatest, greatest, yo. The great youth of Nigeria. Great. Greatest, yo. Greatest, yo. Ciao.
Hello, Mayegu. I'm fine, thank you. Don't mind me. Today's topic was very serious.
Well,
This Martinelli and
I just thought I should lighter notes. Lighter notes.
I know Martinelli and Director Scott. They are hilarious on this chat group. I have to say, the two of them. It's just crazy. My dear, what can we say? I got a call from my friend, my sister actually. And before she called, she sent like 10 videos of people commenting on the video and the Chioma. I was so incensed. I said to her, do you even know what's happening in Kenya? People are talking about the video and Chioma. The video and Chioma that will pack their load and leave all the people here. People don't have Gary, don't have anything.
Tonight, anyway.
They've already left them. They've gone. They've left two people. The problem that you're having, the video and the Chioma or whatever her name is, they don't have that same problem with you. As I understand, they don't even live in, the guy doesn't even live in Nigeria. And she's the same breast is telling me how the Chioma as well doesn't. She was telling me how, things are so expensive, the rice, bag of rice is expensive. I said, do you even know what's happening in Kenya? She said, what's happening in Kenya? I said, my goodness. I live all the way in the US. I'm telling you about Kenya. All of you are in the same continent. You're saying you don't know. Nigeria has problem. We have a big problem. It is ridiculous. Anyway, there's a comment I wanted to make because I wanted to call earlier on when you read the book, when you were reading the book earlier on today. Okay. And I was saying that part of the problem that we have in this continent of Africa is that we are still under the illusion that there is no war against us, because there's a war against us, and they have a perfect strategy against African countries to keep us, in the current situation that we found ourselves in, with illiterate leaders and people who are bereft of ideas, because they're under the impression that they have to collect this money from all of these so-called fraudulent entities, where I personally believe that they don't have to. They really don't have to. And it's almost as if that there's a stipulation by all of these entities to ensure that, your people are taxed to their death, right? Your people are kept hungry. Your people are kept illiterate. That is the one thing that I've seen, the common thread I have seen, with all of these so-called entities, that these countries have ensured that the people are kept poor and illiterate. And that illiteracy works to their benefit, because this is what then gives birth to the situation we have in Nigeria, where people have no curiosity, no intellect to actually resolve issues, nothing.
No ambition.
My God,
nothing really moves.
No ambition, nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, you show us day after day. Yesterday, you showed us the so-called stupid drainage that they did in Benin, right? Today, you showed us this road in Abeokuta, and when you think back to places like the UK and everything, you know that they were in a worse situation. They were in a worse situation compared to us. They were, the villages and wherever were rife with cholera. They were dirty, unhygienic, everything, right? But they have been able to move from that situation into the super cities that you see today. But our government, local governments, nobody has any idea. Nobody has the only intellect they demonstrate is the ability to steal, to plunder, and to ensure that their people remain ignorant. We have a massive problem in this country, in that particular region. Somebody was saying to me, how do you get the Igbo people cannot join this thing? I'm sorry. Because you and I know they will be made the scapegoats at the end of the day. It will no longer be an us problem. It will become an Igbo problem. And I was saying to somebody that the injustice that the Igbos experienced during the Biafran War is what has given birth to whatever is going on in this country today. Because that injustice that the Biafrans experienced allowed the Fulanis to perpetrate the same injustice on the Hausas. After they did it to the Hausas, they went to the Middle Belt. After they done it to the Middle Belt, they have gone and done it. They are still doing it in Yoruba land today and in the South. So when people stood by and let that happen, it gave birth to all of this. And look at us here today.
When everyone is now feeling like, okay, when are we going to actually all agree that the fact that it's happening to one is not happening to me?
It is happening to all.
No,
because it doesn't happen to you today.
It happens to one, it's happening to all, right? And
exactly.
But when?
When we didn't acknowledge that this is what has given birth to all of these things. Now, in order for anybody to protest, it cannot be a protest about, and I completely agree with you, it cannot be a protest of, solving Nigeria's problem. It has to be a protest around the dissolution of that entity. If we decide at the end of the day to come together like East and West Germany, right? That is what they call it. That is a discussion for down the road. But for now, the discussion will be about, let us separate. Let us, destroy this contraption, right? Let us, manage our own resources and do our own thing autonomously, right? And then we decide, okay, somewhere down the line that we can work together. That's fine. But for now, it is not let us come together and resolve. No, we don't want to resolve this rubbish country.
I know.
No, we don't. It's time to move forward.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maigo. I don't know how you do what you do, but I will always appreciate you. Thank you for everything that you do.
And thanks all the time too. At least a lot of you keep it a date all the time. So when I look around, I'm like, but the only person I've not seen in a while is the prayer docent. Have you seen her in the comment section at all?
Yeah. No, not at all. And I know that a couple of people keep saying, greeting prayer docent, but I haven't seen prayer docent in a while. Maybe it's just about, but I have been watching.
Nothing is wrong with me then, because I was the one that was like, why are you asking about her every now and then? I'm like, I see all of you. It's only once in a while I mention your names, and I just say, hey, you, innocent to be or you or that, right? But when I don't see you, I will know, and I can always ask, like,
prayer docent hasn't been unless she's watching. Exactly. Yeah, possibly.
She will eventually come across this and know that we're asking of her. So, Charm, thank you.
All right, thank you, Maigo.
Cheers, ma'am. So that's our lady there, Charm. And the question everybody asks me all the time is, how do you do this? And how come what you do don't even sound the same? Like different stories every now and then. I say, if you have the kind of, if you have enough resources, that you can get up to, let's say, maybe 10, 15,000 cameras different grade, different type, and all that. If you can get, hang on, let me take this. So if you can get them and then position them in strategic areas across Nigeria, okay, you will have more content in a year than the amount of content that YouTube actually receives from all over the world in a single year, from Nigeria alone. Nigeria is just like a Netflix. Okay. So I have to sift through a lot of them, see how much of those happenings actually affect larger number of people. That's how I do it. Okay. So if I see Agbero beating somebody up, that's not really a story. But if I see Agbero beating somebody up in a way, then I see a policeman next to the van or to the bus looking away, then that is a story, because I could bring that up and say, look at this, just to kind of connect to some of you who actually see that every day, but you never really reason it that way. So it's easier, and I think I'm becoming very good at what I do, enough that I also, I also kind of learn from what is happening. It's like what I want to know, and whatever I do know, I want to share. So it's easier, except once in a while when I am so tired. And I won't even announce and tell you that I'm not coming on. And I really do feel bad when I don't do that. So yeah, thank you so much for acknowledging it. And thank you so much for supporting me too by appreciating. So thanks so much for appreciating what I do by supporting what I do. Hello, sir.
Hello, my Gumbaba.
Sir Theo, Elder Theophilus Oniyide. How are you today, sir?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking. And you?
I'm very well too. Thanks for asking. It's been a while.
Yeah, Mayegun, I can do without praying for you every day of my life. Even sometimes if I try to call in and the line seems to be busy, I will like, okay, we are here. I don't know where you get this strength from, where you get the knowledge from, but wherever you are getting it from, I will continue to pray that you continue to have more and more and more of it.
Thank you.
The Lord will continue to strengthen you, to empower you, and give you.
Amen.
Continue.
Thank you so much.
We are really, really enjoying you.
God bless you, sir.
Thank you, sir. And bless you too for me, my brother. You see, I watched that Kenya situation. I'm like, wow, wow. When people come together to mean business, this is the result.
That's right.
But when I look at the situation in that country, Nigeria, I'm like, can this kind of a thing happen in Nigeria? And I beginning to see that it may not happen, or it cannot even happen. Why? Because that country is not one from day one. That country is not, we are not one and we can never be one. And for that kind of a thing to happen, maybe by the time the northerners, the youth in the north started their own, the youth in the southwest, and the youth in the east will start it simultaneously. Maybe that is when it can happen. But with this situation, with this setting, I doubt if such a thing could happen, because the northerners will be preaching the ethnicity, the religions, and all sorts of things, telling their own people over there that, oh, do you want the infidels to take over this thing? Do you want this to take over? That is the preaching over there. And that is the reason why I feel this kind of a thing happening in Kenya cannot ever happen in Nigeria. And the only way we can go about it is to to break all the old thing down. Because if we are thinking we can have one Nigeria after all these settings, after this APC, Egbekegbe of 18, or even the PDP, look at what is happening in the Labour Party now. So my brother, so I doubt, and I don't even think we can have a situation like that in that country called Nigeria.
Whatever the Kenyans are complaining about, sir, Nigerians are actually enduring worse.
The worst of it.
Anywhere. Do you know that they have stepped down the deliberation on the minimum wage now?
They
are waiting to announce. Now they are saying that they are going to do more consultations. So Tinubu is not going to announce any minimum wage. At 60,000 though. At 60,000 though. At 100,000 though. Shishi.
Nothing.
You know they come now.
Nothing.
And everybody is still complaining. Some are even waiting for us to come back to Nigeria and lead the
protest. Come back. Mayegun, you said something a while ago.
Yes, sir.
About did you say 28 years of your life?
Yes, sir.
In Nigeria. Mayegun, I would say 48 years of my life in that country before I left was nothing.
See?
Yeah, the little time I've been here in this country is
far with your life, with yourself, the improvement and everything in a short while.
In a short while.
In a place that is not your place, so it's not your country, it's not nothing. No. Then you have lived your life, most of your life, struggling to stay afloat. For 48 years of your life, trying to stay afloat, you are always worried. All you have, I hope they won't take it away. I hope I won't lose it now. And then,
I hope I won't lose it now.
Years, you can tell.
And at the end of the day, don't I lose it? I lose all.
Exactly.
I lost everything. Every damn thing, I lost it. And the little time I've been here, oh, my brother, is far better than those years I've stayed in the country where I was born, raised, and oh man, yes, a country where I'm nobody.
This country, right? It is this country as bad as some people will say to us, oh, well, this UK is this or that, right? It is actually this country that made me appreciate hard work. Like, yes, I actually believe that hard work pays.
Hard work pays. But it's only here that you can feel it.
If it's your hard work.
Yeah.
No cut, no shortcut, no nothing. It actually pays.
No.
Well, sir, in Nigeria, sir,
women
are praying that, Heavenly Father, I'm looking for a hard-working husband, a very, very hard-working man, a very strong man. But when they see those who are digging conga, they will say, God forbid. These are those who are so hard. They are being paid peanuts. Yes, sir. They are now being paid. They are being paid peanuts. So hard work in Nigeria is simply not the symbol of, you know what I mean, sir? Like hard reward
I
or any better reward.
No, not at all. Not at all. My God, I remember some was it sometimes last year or 2 years ago? Jokingly, I called one of my sister, and the husband doesn't have a job. I'm like, I just said, oh, you know what? One of my friends, who was my schoolmate, has a gas station somewhere in Maryland. And it's a very beautiful, he has set up everything. The gas station is good, blah, 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 blah. I can tell your husband to go and work there. Do you know what this lady told me in her response?
Wow.
He said, Egbon, I'm like, so your husband cannot work in a gas station. He said, Egbon, now. How will my husband work at it? I now said, when I got to America, my first place to work in America is a gas station.
And look at you.
And I worked there. And look at me today, Mayegun. Look at me today. I no longer work in a gas station. I work with a state.
You don't have to tell us about we know. See, there is a place where you can actually monitor your growth. A place where you can tell that your hard work and all of that can actually be rewarding, and you will see it.
We rewarded it.
A place where you can monitor your growth, your progress, whether it is slow, if it's going to be fast, and a place where the color of your skin is actually not the determinant of your economic success.
Determinant of what? I mean,
isn't that
your religion is not going to be determinant of your success?
Come from, sir.
Exactly. That's how it's supposed to be. But reverse is the case, my ego. Reverse is the case.
Thank you so
much.
I don't know.
I don't know. You are highly welcome. Money, my brother. We are expecting you.
Yes, sir.
Everybody is expecting you.
Nice
And
one.
bless you too.
Yeah, I'll get
My
in
regards to
touch
the
with you
family.
on that, eh?
Okay. My
God bless you, sir. Nice one. That's Elder Theophilus Oniyide, a veteran of the Temple of Truth, among others. There are many more. So let me keep the line open. Indeed. You see, when we say these things, I remember telling people that, you see, it is when the lives of the people who are living in Nigeria is better than I mean, that a lot of us will be able